will hand over to you guys.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are glad to have the opportunity to present our product SOS-B to all of you. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Vaishnavi Nashte. I am a strategy designer for SOS-B. My team members, Disha, who is our HR manager, Swadika, who is our sustainability leader, Fahad, who is our finance and operations manager, Victoria, who is our marketing manager. We have worked on different aspects of the product, and we also have a market research team who has also helped us in researching. Victoria couldn't be here with us today as she's a little under the weather, so we'll be presenting on her behalf. So basically, the focus of this presentation is the newly emerging field of personal tracking devices. So through this presentation, we'll be explaining as to, number one, why the product is needed in the market, and number two, how we'll be differentiating ourselves from the other competitors. Respected industry analysts such as Ovum and ABI Research have predicted this industry will become a 22 billion market in the next 5 years. So basically, I'll be presenting some statistics regarding crime reports, violence, road accidents. So these statistics will give us an idea about the growth and potential in this industry in the coming 5 years. Now, this graph basically helps us understand the growth rate. It suggests that there will be a 30% compound annual growth rate, which gets justified by the incremental growth that we can see by the year 2024. This also says that 36% of the growth would come from APAC, which is Asia Pacific regions. But in the later parts of the presentation, we will explain as to why we are still entering the UK market. To help you understand the flow of the presentation, we have divided it into 5 major segments. First, we'll be trying to understand the safety-related market statistics, which help us understand why the product is needed in the first place. Then we talk about interfaces and modularity, where we incorporate the theory that we have studied up till now. Then we focus on HR and sustainability, marketing and target audience, and lastly, we focus on finances and operations. Our team member Fahad has helped us create a 3-year plan wherein we try to understand the budget for the launch phase, and we get a brief idea as to what the budget would be once the product reaches maturity. This would approximately be a 40-minute presentation. We promise to be to the point and thorough. And if you all have any questions, we can take them up at the end. Moving on. More than 126,000 adults went missing in 2019 to 2020. More than 23,000 individuals were severely injured in road accidents, and out of them, more than 1,000 were killed. 218 individuals experienced some kind of violence out of 1,000 in London. Now, the purpose of these numbers is not to scare you, but to help you understand that there are some things that are not always in our control. Now, these numbers are specific to the UK region. We can find numbers which are much worse in other parts of the world. So basically, these numbers will help us understand that as in how we see an increase in the aging population in the country, we can also expect a growth in the potential of elderly missing reports that get filed to the police. Now, these can be a result of multiple factors. For example, the elderly folks might be suffering from some kind of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's or dementia or Parkinson's. And there are some devices that have been specifically made for this particular segment as well. But the point here is to understand that in a time of crisis, it becomes really difficult to keep track of our loved ones, of our friends and family, and to be able to reach out to the right audience. My colleague Disha will help us understand the solution that we've come up with and the mission of our firm.
The solution. SOS-B presents itself as a solution to stay connected with family, police, medical forces in a situation of crisis. Our mission, we want to be the leading brand in personal tracking devices with evolving technology, easy user interface, affordability, and faster communication. We aim to be a household name and premier supplier of safety products. Okay, so how does this SOS-B work? This band is designed in a minimalistic way so it doesn't attract too much attention from others. When comparing with other companies that sell jewelry or watches, this band won't be easily robbed, lost or even forgotten. This band is secured on the ring to make sure it doesn't get lost, and also it's very easy to use. So how does it work from a practical perspective? The band, when you're in a dangerous situation, you press the button once, and then it will contact the emergency services, emergency contacts. These emergency contacts can be adjusted to the app. The emergency contacts can include family members or the police service. And moving on, the button can be clicked twice to reach any emergency contacts, the emergency services. So this can ensure that this can track your health, oxygen, and heart rate as well. The medical team can respond quickly. So overall, you can contact your emergency contact, which involve the police officer, the family, and also the medical system. So moving on, there are 6 features of the SOS-B. Firstly, we have the real-time location updates using the geological tracking, and also the free tracking app, which is used for the iOS and Android smartphones. It works globally. It works across UK and Europe with no extra cost. It has up to 6-day battery life, and it's water resistant, eco-friendly. It's made from recyclable rubber, which ensures comfort for the users. And moving on, I'll just pass on to Bishop.
Perfect. So to understand the architecture of the firm, first we'll try to understand the definitions that have been provided by Annabelle Gower. First, we try to understand scope. She defines scope as the assets that are owned by the company, the labor that we employ, the activities that we perform. To understand the size, she explains it as the distinct groups of customers that basically have access to the platform. Digital interfaces is basically how there will be an exchange of data and of information for each platform market actor that has been mentioned in one of her articles. So from this particular concept, there are other concepts that come into play. For example, the same side network effects and cross-site network effects as well. So moving on. So basically, SOS-B would have a modular architecture. This means that we will vertically outsource the manufacturing of our product. Now the firm believes in outsourcing because of a couple of reasons. Number one, it reduces complexity. What I mean by this is the vertical integration that we have with our suppliers, our manufacturers, our distributors. This can be much better managed with a modular architecture. How? Because it reduces complexity, and especially in terms of innovation. The number 2 advantage would be that the firm can focus major of its resources on the core of the architecture, which would be the tech aspect. And the third one is that whatever contractual relations we have, they can work on the production of a standardized design, which would be the band. Now this says that it will be in the peripheral of the physical product. This would be mentioned and explained much better in the next slide. But it means that they wouldn't need to be dependent upon the core of the architecture. Moving on. Now to understand the core and periphery. Our entire firm gets divided into a physical side and a digital side. From a physical side perspective, the core would consist of a dial, which would have a major element of technology. Now to manage this, we would be hiring a tech specialist. In the periphery of it, we would have a band, a buckle, and the material that gets used for it. From the digital aspect, we would obviously have an app for the two-way communication to actually happen. So that the core would consist of the operating systems, which would be the iOS and the Android. And in the periphery, we would have the application software that is required for building the product. Now, moving on to the sides, we have divided it into the launch phase and the mature phase as well. So since we are a transaction platform, we would have the users and family members for same side network effects. We would also have police forces and the nearest medical teams. And moving on to the mature phase, as Annabelle Gower suggests, we would eventually turn it into a hybrid platform. At least that would be the goal. So we would have more shoppers or developers to basically increase the cybersecurity of the app. We would also have advertisers and the existing sites from launch phase. Now, let's not misunderstand, we wouldn't be adding all the sites at once. Like once we reach maturity phase, we would obviously have like a progressive overload approach to it. Moving on to understand the scope, interfaces, and modularity. As Annabelle Gower suggests, in the launch phase, the scope should be narrow. So we don't have any acquisitions planned. The focus would be more on building same side and cross-site network effects. Architecture, as explained earlier, it would be modular with vertical outsourcing. An interface would be open to basically allow interaction between same side and cross-site participants. And when we move to the maturity phase, we would plan to broaden the scope so that we can turn it into a hybrid platform. So we would probably plan to acquire some SMEs in the safety industry. Our focus would be more on innovation and the sides. So the major goal would be to become a hybrid platform. The architecture would be slightly integral because whatever components we might think to add, for example, let's say we might think of adding a camera to the bank so that they can directly send photographs to the police team. So for that to happen, the architecture would probably become slightly more integral. And the interface would be slightly open for advertisers and developers. Now, before we move on to the next part, there is another term that I'd like to explain. As we move on, there are some important questions we need to answer as a startup. And for that, number one is, how is our product different from the others? And the answer basically consists of this important point called as operational effectiveness. I'd come across this term in one of the article I was reading in HBR. It says that if your firm basically is providing services that might be similar to other people, one way to strategize would be to have some kind of operational effectiveness. This means that we would provide our services in a much better quality and much better execution as compared to the competitors. Now, the answer would be provided by the shop.
So, even though we have multiple SMEs in the market, we don't have a market leader. By taking advantage of operational effectiveness and the second mover advantage, we will leverage our marketing techniques and will partner up with universities and corporate companies to sell the product at a discounted price. With this, we aim to establish industry authority. Human resources. So within our human resources, we have split it into 3 sections. This includes employees that we already have, the employees that we need to hire into the company, and the recruitment process. Currently in our team, we have expertise in marketing and accounting. This is because majority of our teams are from a marketing background and one member of the team specializes in accounting. However, we require further expertise because the core of our product is technologically based and we do not have technological expertise. Therefore, we need to employ those who have technical experience. Similarly, we require a human resource team to resource these people. In addition, we require laborers to assemble the product and to meet customer demands. The recruitment process includes background check and DBS checks to ensure the person is genuine and won't cause harm to the business. And also the recruitment process will involve checking the standards are met to see if they have expertise in the field. Induction is required to ensure workplace standards are adhered to and health and safety is acknowledged. SOS-B has an equal and diversity agenda, which ensures employees receive fair treatment. This involves having access to unions to solve issues, having infrastructure such as disability access, such as lifts and ramps. Regardless of gender, pay will be given equally, We do not tolerate any bullying or harassment. We will also be posting diversity events, enabling everyone to get to know each other, so people will feel more integrated. Now moving on to sustainability. Okay, so with sustainability, SOS-B has two main features. This includes a recycled rubber, which helps to reduce carbon footprint as it's an ongoing issue. This will help boost our brand value. And secondly, it helps reduce the waste produced within the company. And as we're a startup, we need to reduce as much cost as possible. And again, we have the energy saving charge. And we're also adhering to the environmental legislation, which is a benefit. Another aspect involves energy saving battery life. It's important for us to conserve electricity as it helps to reduce pollution and also helps to reduce energy costs. And again, as we're a startup, we need to save as much. And finally, as SOS promotes sustainability awareness to consumers, and as a company, we can help reduce benefit from efficiency and benefit from economies of scale. And moving on to the privacy and legal considerations. So we have a responsibility to protect our consumers' data, and it would not be shared for any marketing purposes. This data should only be provided through the geolocation, which involves the 3 sites of family, police, and hospital. This information would not be shared anywhere else, and also we would have a patent to prevent any company from not copying our products. Moving on, the target market. So with the target market, we will be targeting between 18 to 70-year-olds, which would be broken down in the next slide. From our research, we found that mostly adults go missing, and it's recorded that 37% of sexual offences is for adults, and also those that are living in disadvantaged areas or have high crime rates. So this is the area we'll be targeting. Moving on. So this target market is divided into 3 segments. We have the young adults, which is 18 to 22. We'll be using marketing campaigns which involve social media sites. And this involves Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. And influence will be a huge benefit for this company as it will reach this kind of age range. And also we have the 23 to 45, which is the working professionals. So we'll be using Meta and the LinkedIn marketing campaign. Yes, so Facebook is mostly used in social media platforms for this. And also we have the 45 to 70-year-old, which is the older generation. And through this, family members would get access to this, and we can reach out to this segment as well. So moving forward. So we have the diagrams. So this diagram showcases that a lot of people are now using social media platforms. They're creating a lot of social networking profiles. So that's what this diagram shows. And moving forward. So this diagram, it showcases that mostly social media is used for promoting and branding, and Facebook is commonly used, and we can use it as a call for action button, which will help promote SOS-B to others. And the next diagram. This shows that content marketing in the UK, which platforms have been ranked here for content marketing in the UK. And it shows that LinkedIn is the best place for this contact. It will help target the 23 to 45-year segment. Yeah. So now we have the SWOT. So within the SWOT, we can ensure that for the strengths, we have ensures high security for the market, and we have a high scope of innovation and technology. Now, brand sustainable, and that's the strength. And for the weakness, as we are a startup, we would have high initial costs to start up with. And for opportunities, as we don't have a market leader in our area, we can benefit from the second move advantage and also the operational effectiveness. And as this market has the potential to reach 22 billion market share, we have a benefit to increase the profitability in the long term. And for the threats, we have a constantly changing rules in international market entry. And we also have high competition from Amber Alert and Angel Sense and Brickhouse Security.
Fine. So what we are expecting from our marketing campaigns and strategies, like what are the goals for the year? The first thing is establishing industry. So we would like to establish our industry in the market because as we are new, there are tough competition. The main goal is establishing industry. Increasing brand awareness by 30% by the end of the year, and increasing the sale by 20%. Generating high quality leads because we know there are tons of leads. So our most important thing is generating high quality leads, which are actually important to us who is going to buy the product. The second thing is boost the brand community because as we are a startup, we don't have any community right now. So the main thing will be focusing on the brand and engaging the customers. And what we are going to do in online and offline strategy, the first thing in online is we are going to inbound marketing with our website. There will be SEO, paid media, social media platforms, and other digital tools we are going to use for online strategy. Offline strategy, we are going to having offline workshops with university and corporate to actually promote our product. We will have workshop like VR, which is actually going to promote the product, which is the future right now. Community engagement, the main thing for us right now is community engagement because the customer we will getting is the most important thing for us. So we will be having a personalized interaction with the customer to get the feedback, and that feedback we are going to use as a changing the thing for the future. And that feedback will be shared by blogs and social media. There will be loyalty program, which will be important for the customer to maintain the loyalty. There will be discount and virtual events. And this whole thing will be measuring by using KPIs, websites, and tracking via CPC and CPM. So next important thing is finance. So the finance include how we are going to arrange the capital for the business, what will be the revenue and the cost projection, and what is the scope for the business in the future. So we will start from the cost. So what are the costs we actually have throughout the year? So you can see we have a year 1, year 2, year 3 cost, and we have dedicated capital to every department, starting from operation, finance, human resource, marketing, and research and development. Every department, allocated a certain amount of budget so that they can use their budget throughout the year. For example, you can see the operation cost. We have allocated £50,000, okay, to operation cost, and this includes how the operation team is going to use that amount. The first thing is they're going to pay the rent, traveling expenses, accounting of the supplies, raw material, and everything. So every sector has been dedicated for each amount, so how they can use. So you can see at the end of the year, total cost for year 1 is £2,63,000. Okay, and we have some surplus amount left at the end of the year by each department because it makes sense. Every department has certain amount of money to use throughout the year, and we have some surplus so that we are not in the situation with the mid of the year that we don't have capital. So every department will have certain amount of money. So the main thing, how we are going to arrange this capital. The first thing is, as we know, we have 4 types of investors, mainly incubator, accelerator, venture capitalist, and joint capitalist. So the main thing we are going to arrange the funding. The first incubator. Incubator are someone who actually provide amount in the basic start of the capital, start of the business. So we are expecting that they will be giving £250,000 for the start of the year, and we are ready to give 12% of company equity. And the rest of the amount, £90,000. So we are targeting various banks, which is ready to give loans to us in 4% interest. There are various government schemes which we will be targeting, which is they hardly charge 0% interest, like it's come under government scheme. There are many university and many funding scheme available. For example, we have Queen Mary University funding scheme available, which provide £10,000. And at the end, each member will be contributing equal amount of money in the business as they are equal partner in the business. Next slide. So you can see here, every member will be contributing a particular amount in the business. Okay, and every member is the owner of 10.60% of equity in the company, which make them to take decision, and every member are actually having their rights in the business. So last thing, what is the revenue generation? What will be the cost? What will be the manufacturing cost of the product? What will be the profit at the end of the year? So we will answer all this question in this way. The first thing is for year 1, we need £3,25,000 throughout the year. if the manufacturing cost of one band is 56 pounds, and if we are able to manufacture 10,000 band, and if we sold 10,000 product at the end of the year, we are making 10 lakh turnover, 10 lakh pound turnover. If we minus the cost of the year, we are making 6,75,000 profit in the end of the year, which makes sense. Everything after paying the tax, paying the operation cost and everything, after decreasing everything, we are at like 6,75,000 pounds at the end of the year. In year two, we will be targeting more customer and the target will be increased. At the same time, the production quantity will increase, the cost of production will decrease. So you can see the cost of production was 56 in the first year, it comes to 52 because the manufacturing, the production quantity increased to 10,000 to 50,000, which makes sense, it's come to 50,000. So cost for year two is 7,35,000. The reason is everything will increase. The first year, we are trying to push our product. Second year, there will be customer who is going to engage with us to manage that customer. We will be needing more human resource, more raw material, more operation teams and everything. So which can the profit at the year two, we are still making profit of 7,65,000, which is actually what we are spending. It's like double of that. So the last thing, operation plan. How is going to be like how we are going to get, how the consumer is going to get the end product. So it's like the operation team is going to contact with the supplier for the raw material, the manufacturing time. We will be having at least 4 suppliers at the time because there may be situations we might have some conflict with the one supplier. So we don't want to stop our business. So we will be having key supplier as a backup. The operation team will contact supplier as well as manufacturer because supplier will directly transport the raw material to the manufacturer plant. The supplier and manufacturer are different because we don't want to give them more authority. If both are the same, they will have major authority to actually discriminate us. So that's the reason the supplier is different and the manufacturer is different. Supplier will transport the raw material to manufacturer and the manufacturer will manufacture the product and everything will be sent to SOS-B team. This team will be checking the product, assembling the product, testing and packaging, everything is fine. And then it will be sent to the retailer and other online website. At the end, it will be consumed. Yep. These are the references.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
How are we doing time?
You guys talked about remaining pretty modular. Have you guys considered any of the additional risks and costs that come with it?
Yeah. We did everything like you're asking about the cost, right?
Yeah, with remaining modular.
Remember?
With remaining more modular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you see, we are making 100% profit. Okay, from the manufacturing, we are manufacturing the product at 52, and the cost of selling is 100. 100. So it's like 100% of the profit.
Yeah, but I just mean any of the like additional risks. Can you just tell me what the risks would be?
So the risk will be. So we don't have any type of risk right now, as the whole team is here, and the only team we need is technical team. The finance team and everything is managed by us. The technical team, which will be only the thing we are going to take them, and they are the ones. So I don't think there is any risk, and the cost of production for one is 56, and the cost for the year is 3,25,000 pounds. If we sell half of this, our target is 10,000. If we sell 5,000, then also we are somewhere near the profit. We are in profit of 2,50,000. So if you minus this, if you are doing 50% of this target, then also we are in profit. So I don't think we are in so much stress right now to deal with that.
Probably one of the risks would be to hire a tech specialist who would provide that kind of quality. So of course, we would need somebody in HR who has a much better understanding of tech, who can understand who would actually provide this kind of quality. Because as we mentioned, operational effectiveness, that would come into play only when everybody knows their roles, right? So I think that would be one of the risks.
And one more, it's like we don't have any technical skills right now. So we are trying to get one partner who can remember, who can come to the business, who can join us so that he knows technical stuff very right. As he is a member of the business, we will be actually communicating with the technical team because we don't have any technical experience right now a little bit. So we are trying to get a technical member as a partner in the business so he can look in technical this, and we are more stronger because we have all the powers here. That's the reason we are different the supplier and manufacturer. We don't want to give anyone more power than us because they can actually influence us.
Thank you.
Any question? Yeah, please.
Okay, how would you tackle the problem of privacy and patents? Okay.
For the patents, we're just gonna have we're gonna patent the core product. Yeah, so what was the question?
Yeah, how would you tackle the problem of patents and privacy? Like you will have issues, or you will have to go to like, you will have to get your product approved that, and you say that there are similar technologies available, and you differentiate that by having having given quality to the customer rather than differentiation. So how would you like approach that problem? Because someone will ask you that the patent already exists and you can't apply for new patents. How would you approach that problem?
So there are tons of patents, like it depends design, and you are asking about the design or
Yeah,
the
which
technology.
patents are you guys?
So we will be having two type of patent. One will be on technology, doesn't have any patent. So it's like anyone can use it. I don't have it. There will be patent for the strap. Okay, what we're gonna use. Technology doesn't have, because codes never have patent.
Yeah, so physical product.
Yeah, physical product is gonna have patent, so that we differentiate the product. Technology never have patent. So that's the reason I'm trying to get one technical guy in my team, so that he can actually go through the codes and everything. And before this, we are gonna hire one lawyer and one department of one team member who is actually gonna through to the all laws and regulation before we start the business. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any question apart from this?
You said that over time you will add an innovation side to your platform to become hybrid. Could you talk a little bit more about that innovation side, please?
Okay, so basically, you know how Facebook has developers, it has a developer side as well. So eventually, as in how our customer base would increase, data protection would be a major risk that we would need to protect all the customer data. So we would think about hiring, we would open a side of the platform for innovation where developers can include their coding, which would be very specific to making good use of data privacy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So another thing is, as currently we have only banned the safety bands. In the future, we will be trying to get the digital watch as well as band in one thing, because the person you're wearing a watch right now. So that's the reason what we will do. It's the first year of the business. So we're gonna try and test the product. It always said the first year for the startup is trial and error. So we know what customer like, what customer dislike. We will get tons of feedback. And as per that feedback, we are going to work for the future. We don't know right now. Okay, there are tons of things we have for the future, but there might be some customer requirement. Okay, it's like they need all the things in the one step. So all things depend upon the feedback. We have certain plans, but that's it. In the first year, we are thinking this is a test and trial, that we are going to get tons of feedback, and as per that, we are going to work for the future. That's the reason we have planned for year 2 and year 3. And we have dedicated a huge amount for research and development team, because the first year is totally about the test and error, and the second year, we need to have a good research, what are the customer feedback, and then we are going to deal with it.
I'll slightly follow up then. So part of the idea of this product is that it's, understated, you're not going to get mugged for your strap. If you add a watch to it and make it more desirable, is that not now a risk that you might get mugged for the thing, and then it gets taken and it's lost its purpose?
So I think that would completely depend upon the kind of response we are getting in the first year. So this is just a part of a plan that we might or we might not include depending upon the response that we get. So there were a few questions that did come up during discussions of our own team, that why would people prefer a band instead of a watch that probably might perform similar functions. So if customers, they are looking for another integration of a watch, we might add it, or else we'll stick to the niche that we have, which will safely or be completely focused on safety.
Any other questions? Who hasn't asked anything yet? Questions? In which case we will end it there. Thank you very much. You stop recording and presenting group. Do you prefer chocolate or wine gums? That's your choice today.